This is the Kansept Pretatout, designed by Kmaxrom. French designer Jonathan Renaudin goes by Kmaxrom. Now, you're going to have to excuse my enthusiastic but awful French pronunciation, but I'd like to say Pretatout because it means ready for anything. And I think it's a cool name for a knife. I've always liked the sound of French, especially when it's used in dramatic situations, kind of like German and Italian. I think they all have a nice drama to them. Anyway, this has a wonderful drama to it. I love this knife. That was a corny segue, but it has a lot of beautiful design to it and a lot of, well, sort of drama in the design. I love the double peak. I'm a big sucker for the spine of the, say, the Mac V SOG style of combat knife slash Bowie that came out, in the beginning of Vietnam, but has been made sort of emblematic by the SOG Bowie and that Mac V SOG design. I love seeing it on a Tanto blade. This one, of course, reminds me a lot of the Umnumzan, which I'll show in a minute, the Chris Reeve Umnumzan Tanto blade, and had Jonathan on the program, showing my age. I had Jonathan on the podcast, and I talked about how much I liked this blade and how it reminded me of the Umnumzan Tanto blade, and he came out and said, yeah, that was an influence for sure. This thumb swale here, and then this harpoon, and then having this sort of tip as opposed to, say, that sort of tip with a much bigger wedge up front, sort of points to that Chris Reeve style. Now, they are different, and I'll show that in a second, but definitely inspired by that. I do like the belly of this blade, and the grind of this blade is outstanding. This is a very thin, flat grind, and now I'm looking at it, it kind of almost looks hollow, but it's not. It's a flat grind, and I'm going to make 100% sure of that. But yeah, it's a flat grind, but it's a very thin flat grind. I've been using this for cardboard, just in the kitchen, breaking stuff down, and the kitchen is right where the recycling is. That's the reference, but it is really thin and sharp, and it just glides right through the cardboard. It's really sharp, but nice and thin, as you can kind of see right there in that shot. But this knife has outstanding action. Kansept, I really think their knives are beautifully built. Now, I have 4 of them, and I just got the micarta version of this with the clip point blade, but I'll show that off in a different video. I'll go over that because there is a different feel, and there are some differences. Actually, not too many, but Kansept is very impressive to me. I think that their builds are really, really good, and they're doing a lot of interesting designs. Now, they're not all my cup of tea, but some of them are, and the Kmaxrom designs obviously are. Like I said, very smooth action. You have the flipper tab, you have the thumb studs, which on this version, you have to be careful because they don't work well if you're in any way depressing that lock bar, which in the beginning I was doing and just mauling my thumb, holding this down and then just digging in and nothing happening, which still happens a bit. It's my least favorite way to deploy this knife is with the thumb studs. You can do that. My favorite way is with that fuller. The fuller makes an excellent middle finger flicking platform. Just dig in there, flick it out, and it's got very smooth closing action, but the kind of smooth I like. It's not the smooth like this one, this Smatch It. It's like you really have to get your finger out of the way. It just, gravity just takes it. This one has a bit of, just a little bit of resistance, smooth resistance, and I like the way it goes in. I prefer that to a just flopping shut. These 3 simple milled grooves are really excellent for grip because your fingers reach around. This is not particularly wide. Your fingers reach around and dig into these rather sharp edges. They're not sharp uncomfortable, but sharp for grip. And then there's one over here. So that works really well. The shape of the handle is very nice. This is more curved than I've been tending towards recently, but feels great. Feels great in hand. That choil is just big enough. And then in reverse grip, it's excellent for putting your thumb over the top and getting some pressure there. I love that. I love that shape there. Excellent titanium pocket clip, milled, you know, just kind of somewhat generic, but excellently straddles the cutout there and rests on this part of the frame as it should. Oftentimes, I mentioned this when the pocket and the clip are so close together or on top of each other in this case, that can be a problem on thicker seamed pockets. This has not been a problem with any of my pockets so far. The mauled pockets, no big deal at all. And with the pockets that have good seams, it's been working fine. As you can see in there, that's pocketed out for weight. This feels like a nice, lightweight knife. It's balanced nicely at the finger choil. Just an excellent, excellent knife. I've been enjoying every minute of this thing. I would say this, every once in a while I'll miss it. So maybe 2 jimps there would be welcome, but really not a deal breaker, not even necessary, and probably ultimately more comfortable without it, because for me, if I'm going to put my thumb there, you know, if I'm cutting through cardboard, you don't want your thumb there. But if I were to use any sort of pressure on the back, it really does push my finger up against that. So, and your finger feels it even in saber grip like this or in a hammer grip. So maybe it's better it's not jimped. Nicely chamfered all the way around. This is an interesting thumb ramp. It really works best when you're back, laying all the way back like this. Not very good like that, but not bad. But just, you know, just a little concave surface there. Very nicely jimped. Grips the fingers just how they need to do it without being too much. And nicely terraced thumb studs. Though, like I said, you know, the thumb studs work better in reverse flick for me because I just have a hard time not contacting that lock bar. So let me show it with a couple of other great Tantos. I love this Tanto design. I love unique Tantos. I'm going to put them this way for light. It seems like I have better light on this side. So there it is. Look at that. That is an attractive knife. That is a beautiful blade. Really beautiful stone wash on that blade. So I'll show it with the Chris Reeve Knives Umnumzan Tanto. This, of course, is hollow ground. And you have a similar wedge-like tip, but let's look at the difference. The Chris Reeve Knives, let's gently touch these tips together. And you'll see that the Chris Reeve Knives is just a zero ground wedge. This has a relief cutting edge there. So, but overall, you can see the influence. I should have just taken the backing off and just stuck it on there. You can see the swale there for the thumb. This similar shaped Tanto. Here's another really awesome Tanto. This is the up to, I believe they're making this up till 2012. I think in 2013 they changed the design. But I love this era Tanto of the old SOCOM series. Love that swedge and that how there are 2 points, but they're kind of off center. Just a beautiful and very nice to work with blade there too. Here it is with the Riot K2. A darn attractive knife, if I do say so. Well, not that I built it, but. And then the Emerson designed 630. I can't remember the name of the Emerson that this is based on, and it's very hard to see with the coating here, but also a really nicely shaped drop point or clip point Tanto. The swedge on top and then these two facets. All right, and then last Tanto to show it with is this Kansept, also designed by Kmaxrom. This is the Pelican. Totally different, much higher point to center. The point on this is much more centerline. Point on this is trailing. And then I'll show it with, this is my other Kansept, the Pinkerton designed Main Street. This was from the first batch where they misprinted it. Little Main Street. Oh, and then lastly here, let me show it with this. I'm going to do a separate video for this one. This is the Pretatout in micarta. Beautiful micarta. Really nicely done knife. And such an excellent looking clip point. This also reminds me of the Mac VSOG and is also a thin ground and excellent cutter. Action on this one is a little more stiff, but it's breaking in as I drive my wife nuts with it. All right. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Tanto point, the Tanto bladed titanium version, premium version of the Kansept Pretatout designed by Kmaxrom. Check it out.